How do you dominate your fantasy football draft in 2025 ADP? Knowing ADP, not drafting off it like a robot, actually manipulating the ADP, drafting around the ADP and the tendencies of your league mates, like avoiding this guy, a first-round running back,
Ashton Jeanty,
who, dare I say, is a top 5 running back as a rookie in 2025. I know what you're going to say, Henry7524 on YouTube, or Angry Angus, or Concerned Caleb, or Worried William. Smitty, you don't even know where he's playing. He hasn't even taken a snap yet. What if he goes to a bad team, Smitty? Scared money don't make money, Phil. No matter where he goes, he's going to be a monster. But yeah, are there better situations? Yeah, and I'm kind of banking on that he lands in one of those, because any team willing to take him in the top 10, top 12 overall is going to have the need for a running back. I don't anticipate a bad landing spot. I anticipate one landing spot, like let's say the Bears as a not so desired landing spot. Wait a minute. Why aren't the Bears, honestly, a good landing spot? But he's still going to thrive there. Do I want him in Dallas? You bet your bottom dollar I do, Angus. But he's winning leagues for people. In the second round, at his amazing second round, 14.2 ADP. The Fantasy Football Show. Second round ADP gems, the sleeper, the people sleeping inside round number 2 show begins right now. Go watch the round 1 show. I've got on my YouTube channel a row for all ADP shows, as I plan to do a weekly show on ADP. ADP gems, ADP avoids, ADP running backs, ADP wide receivers, all kinds of topics. And before you go, Smitty, I don't understand what's going on here. Ashton Jeanty's a rookie. Jeanty can be as good as any running back in the National Football League. He has the capability of being the number 1 overall running back in the National Football League. I'm not saying draft him there. I'm not saying bank on that. I'm not saying expect that. I'm saying that the potential ceiling value for this kid is RB1. And I don't see a world where he goes, even if it was to Chicago or one of the landing spots I don't love as much, I don't see a world where he isn't an electric top 5 running back at the National Football League, because anybody that takes him will be taking him in the top 12, where you have to use him. It's not like second round running backs like Scadaboo or even Hampton, or especially Caleb Johnson or Judkins, or any of these guys that are going around 2-3. They could land in a cloudy environment because that draft capital doesn't command, oh, you've got to start him in week 1. That could be a rotational role. That's the risk of running backs falling later, is the investment's not as strong, so teams can be more creative with how they use a running back. But when you take a Jeanty in the top 12, a Jahmyr Gibbs in the top 15, these running backs are going to be used on the regular. They're going to be used as workhorse type running backs. Jeanty is a workhorse. No running back is better than Ashton Jeanty coming out of college, except for Barry Sanders, ever. 2,600 rushing yards, 29 touchdowns in 2025 alone, 7.0 yards per carry, 374 carries. And just because you look like almost a normal elite player in 2023, 1347, 14 touchdowns on the ground. Don't forget his 5 receiving touchdowns, making it 19 total touchdowns, 43 receptions for 569 in 2023. So don't let he didn't really get utilized in the passing game in 2024 as he just tried to run for Barry Sanders' record. Don't let that fool you into thinking he's not a receiving back. One of the better receiving backs in the draft class. 43, 569, and 5 tutties in 2023. He has the makings of being the best running back in the National Football League, and no one's asking him to be that as a rookie at his 14.2 ADP. This is the definition of what we call baked in boys, where the value's baked in no matter what. His floor value is this right here. He gets you 1,000, 1,100 rushing, couple hundred receiving, 10 to 12 touchdowns, easily earns his number, 14 overall value. If he becomes even remotely close to the player I believe that he can become, even as a rookie, he wins you a league. I love that he's dropping, because he was at 12 ADP, 12 right around this HN Henry value. He has since, in the last couple of days, really on Underdog, promo code Smitty, by the way, where you can also draft a team at any moment for 2025. 50% match on your first deposit, all the way up to $1,000 as long as they have this promotion going. So act now. But just hit the link in the description. Code Smitty gets it done as well. But I'm telling you that one of the best strategies in 2025 from the bookend territory. So you're drafting at 12. You could go Neighbors if you're lucky to get him at 11 or 12, and he's been falling. And go watch my video on Neighbors, the video before this. Again, all my ADP shows are on their own row on my YouTube channel. Just go to the main YouTube channel, scroll down midway through, you'll see a row that says ADP shows. Neighbors at 11-12 with Jeanty. Neighbors wins you a league. Robust RB, do it. Ashton Jeanty back-to-back would be phenomenal selections at 12 and 13. Brock Bowers, Drake London with Jeanty. Brock Bowers, Drake London with Neighbors. These are all amazing approaches in 2025. But this is not about those. This is about this man, Ashton Jeanty at 14.2. There's no risk at all, in my opinion. As long as he stays healthy, something we can't really control, he will be able to earn and garner this type of value back. The return on investment's nearly guaranteed if he's healthy. 29 rushing touchdowns, 7 yards per carry. The king of forced missed tackles at the college level. This guy dominated every category in football. Every model you look at says this is the next Saquon Barkley. The easiest call and lock transitioning from the college game to the pro game. There's no ambiguity. There's no question marks. There's no but what if. None of that exists for Ashton Jeanty. He wins leagues. He's Smitty approved. And I'd take him as high as 5 overall. Don't tell anybody.
You've just been Smitty approved.
And don't forget, he was one of the top 2 or 3 added bold predictions on the Jupiter, Saturn, Mars men list. I give you the Jupiter men as it stands right now on February 23rd, 2025.
The Jupiter men. Jupiter is so large, every planet in the solar system could fit inside it. There are no bigger monsters than the Jupiter men.
Jeanty wins you leagues. Now go get some. I'm not a big advocate of taking a tight end in round number 1. I never have been, even when Kelsey was a clear first-round pick and a very good value when you look at all of the numbers. I'm just not a big advocate of building that way. I feel like you get behind the 8 ball at too many positions at one time. But when Brock Bowers, who deserves to be in round 1, and a lot of projections back in like November, December about 2025 ADP, they predicted him to go in round 1, 11, 10, 12 overall. And I believed it would probably happen. But right now we're looking at Brock Bowers falling to an amazing territory ADP-wise. He's all the way down at 17 overall. I don't know if this will be a little different in non-best ball as we are looking at best ball data. Underdog, promo code Smitty. Again, do a 2025 draft today. 50% match on your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Use code Smitty or the link in the description. As of this moment on Underdog, 17 is his ADP. Could he climb to like 12, 11, 10? In buddy leagues? Of course, premium he would. In tight end premium scoring, you'd draft him in the top 5 easily. But in a non-best ball buddy league, a home league, a redraft league, any of those leagues that we're talking about, your work league, I think he does climb a little, but I still think he's a second rounder. And in the case of best ball or in drafts where he's a second rounder or even a mid-second rounder, he's a fantastic value. You're not leaving too much meat on the bone going after the tight end position that early. You're still going to get plenty of running back and wide receiver depth. I don't think you should do it in every league. I think a tight end early approach, even around 2, should only be done in maybe 10% of your leagues so you can take advantage of the Jeantys and the Drake Londons and the other players that are amazing in round 2. But I think Brock Bowers is a fantastic second round pick, and it doesn't feel like a risk on any level. Every single bit of the risk would be baked in. The risk in your other positions being a little lesser because of this. There's no risk in taking Brock Bowers in round 2. He's going to earn that value. It's more about the risk of what it does to the other positions, and I think that risk is also baked in. Every team I've drafted Bowers, and the later I get him, the more I can say this. Every team I've drafted Bowers in as a second round player, I've loved the team. I haven't felt for 1 second that, oh my God, this team looks like it's going to be lacking, and I should shouldn't have done the approach. Bowers is truly one of the lowest risk second-round picks you can make. 1194 and 5 touchdowns in 2024 with 112 receptions with no quarterback play. And the Raiders are definitely one of the teams in the 2025 NFL draft. Let me grab this current draft order as we have it now. Don't forget to go watch this Debo stream. Let me drag this on screen here. This is the 2025 NFL draft order. The Raiders drafted number 6. There's a chance they still get Shedeur Sanders. It could happen. And if they don't, Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, there's still options on the table. Maybe even the Stafford business ends up being true. There's some legs to it that Stafford gets moved. There's opportunity. Russell Wilson would be a worst case scenario. I don't like that, but that could deliver enough production to Brock Bowers that we're not worried while he is a bridge quarterback. And then they draft a player like Arch Manning. So there's still a lot of hope for dynasty value in Bowers, even if they don't solve the quarterback position long-term this year. I hope they do, though. I think the Raiders are going to be under some pressure and some warranted pressure to move up and not do what they did last year. I think they drafted around 13 last year, if I'm not correct. Ziggy, what draft selection did the Raiders have in 2024? Let's
get the 2024 NFL draft. The Raiders have 8 picks. They had the 13th pick.
13. Ziggy, volume 10. Can't even hear you. So they had the 13 overall pick. So 13 overall pick. They sat on their hands. Penix Jr. went. Bo Nix went. J.J. McCarthy went. Obviously, the top quarterbacks, Caleb and JD5 also went. And Drake May. And so, literally, by pick 13, this team, led by absolute failure of a coach because of allowing all these quarterbacks to be grabbed. That was a sign that he should have been fired immediately, Pierce. But this team sat on their hands. They can't do that. Even at 6, if they sit on their hands and they don't get Cam Ward or Shedeur, it is a failure of a draft season, in my opinion. A failure, an absolute playing checkers while everybody else is playing chess and they're not even trying. You're playing checkers. You're trying to play one-dimensional checkers with everybody when you sit there and you don't move up to go get Shedeur or Cam Ward. It is time to act. No matter what, Winston or Russell Wilson, let's call those the worst case scenarios. This is what Brock Bowers is going to do. He just proved it in a Raider uniform in 2024. If they upgrade to Cam Ward, they go get Justin Fields or Darnold. This goes from 112 to 115 to 120 receptions, 1,250 to 1,290, 1,300 yards, 10 to 11 to 12 touchdowns. Big difference, big league winner. It's all baked in. You're buying him at these numbers right here, and you're hoping for more, and more will win you a league. Smitty approved Brock Bowers in round 2, especially mid-round 2.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Let's get into round number 3, where some of the best running backs in 2025 are sitting. First round potential running back sitting in round number 3. You know who I'm talking about.
The Fantasy Football Show.